Hey everyone, just got to a stop off, so I thought I would work on another video in between the frustrations and things going on. Sometimes this is a better way to do it, get my mind back focused on the Lord and the day and what's going on. Um, so, one of the comments, someone wanted to know how I was able to get where I'm at with the visions and speaking with Jesus, speaking with God, and seeing the things I see. And as I have said in other videos, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I mean, you know, it's that relationship with Jesus daily, um, which keeps me focused. Now, remember, not all people are going to be able to see heaven, and they're not going to be able to see hell. I mean, God gives everybody different gifts. From a child, I was able to see the spiritual realm and see things that took place. As I got older, I still could see it, but I would just block it off. Getting into the demonic homes and stuff and the witchcraft and all that kind of stuff, it just reopened stuff. Certain drugs reopened stuff, and there's so many things that was a factor in a lot of it. But through even the drug stage, it was more of a meditation. It would keep me locked under the devil, the devil's power, and seeing his realm was every day. I mean, you live in sin, you see his realm every day. You're depressed, you don't feel important. You can go right down the list of the very things, and that's why I speak of, do not allow yourself to go into that realm. That's why I don't really like to speak of the demons' names, and if it slips up once in a while, because I'm just replaying it, and sometimes it just comes out. People, trust me, I don't want you to even look up a name. I don't. If someone gives you a name of a demon, don't look it up. First of all, why is somebody giving you a name of a demon? That's the devil speaking. Um, Books, again, books will lead you. It starts opening them portals, people. It starts opening doors. The devil wants them doors open. He wants you to watch these witchcraft movies. He wants you to watch. How many movies is there out there just about the Ouija board movies? But you look at the things that take place in these movies. But again, a lot of what I've learned was from training and stuff. Meditation. I was always good at clearing my mind. I was always good at most of my life I've been alone. You know, I, all the way up to my first marriage. Even in that, I was alone. I never really felt connected with my children because I always felt like, they always took their mom's side on things. They've seen things. They were always sticking up for her, and unfortunately, sometimes we carry the baggage, and I just became a checkbook most of the time over things, over life. Part of that's my fault for allowing it, but it's who I am. I'd rather walk in peace and be beaten down and taken advantage of than go live life and go, man, I shouldn't have done that. Because that's where the hypocrite part comes in. For the very thing that I was always upset with my father about, how can you go and raise other kids and not do anything with your own? And there was plenty of excuses out there. So all these things start to take place. So the more I grew up with this stuff, and the more rejection and the more hatred and stuff that pours on you, that started opening back up them realms to the devil. And the devil's speaking. Well, I know his voice. I know what he looks like. I looked him straight in the face many times. I looked him straight in the face when I was in that pits of hell. He's not this thing with horns and this pointy tail and scaly skin and red. You think he would be with the red part with that, but you got to understand he was even described in the Bible as, I don't know how the wording goes depending on which one, but as a handsome person. He is very clever, well spoken. You know, you think about it. He was right under Jesus. You know, so educated, yes. Knowing the Bible, yes. He watched the creation of the Bible. He walked through the areas of the Bible, the New Testament. How does he not know it? Question is, do we know it? Do we know it enough to defeat him? Sometimes just calling on the blood of Jesus and Jesus, that's enough sometimes to get some of these devils to go. But you get those hardcore devils, as I call them, you know, the ones that are right underneath the fallen angel, them generals that I was talking about. You got the fallen angel and that general, which the legions fall under that. Those ones aren't so naive per se. They'll stick it out for a bit, and just to see. If you're walking in faith is also showing and doing. You know, and that's where I come into it. You can pray and pray, but you're also keeping stuff in your house, because one person said that he was going to wait till Jesus gives him something in a dream. And like I replied back, okay, but it's also showing Jesus your faith. It's a two-way street. It's not, you know, I did a teaching on an ATM thing once, and basically I'm just going to give you a little part of it. If you go to work every day, you know your check's going to be direct deposited these days. There's no live checks and that type of stuff. Not too often anymore. There are some occasions. Some places will still do a live check for people that don't have a bank account, or you know, whatever the reason is. But you know that's there. But you also know you got to jot down your check information, what you spent. I never kept a check registry when I was by myself with my two youngest kids. I just knew here, if I spent $21 and some change at a store, I would round it up to $22 and just subtract that off my total what I had. I always knew then I would always have something still in there. So, same thing with God. You just can't keep swiping the card and drain it and expect to go there and be money and not have an overdraft fee. God doesn't work that way. It's a two-way street. We have to accept the Son. We have to live accordingly to how He wants us to live. And it's not that He's controlling, it's because it's for our protection. I do recommend this, though. You know, it's crazy as it sounds. You know, you've heard people say, well, if there's a shirt on the door or something like that, don't bother me, don't knock. I mean, those type of things. But I do believe if you have children, I do believe if you're in a house that's got a lot of people, family, husband, wife, whatever the situation is, and the children are there, whether your husband goes off to work or husband, whether your wife goes off to work, whatever the situation may be, if you have some alone time, I recommend you, if you got a landline home phone, cell phones, turn it, unplug the phone, turn off your cell phone, mute it, put it off to vibrate, whatever you have to do, and just go to a quiet place. Just take all distractions from your life. Don't think about anything. The hardest part is not thinking about anything, because I know your mind's constantly going. The devil also wants your mind constantly going. It takes a bit. Sometimes, you know, when I first started off doing this, I would just start counting like to 10 and count backwards. And almost like I just close my eyes and I just sit there and just breathe. Breathe in real slow. And then I just kind of let myself drift. And then I start picturing what I think heaven would look like. And I see that vision. And then I picture Jesus just standing there. And I just start talking to him. But it's a two-way conversation. See, I can talk into this camera all day. I get nothing from it. Just listen to myself talk. I can go look in a mirror and talk to myself all day. If I don't stop talking once in a while and listen to him talk, again, you may hear your own voice at first because he's getting you used to hearing. But eventually that voice sounds different. There's times when I'm in prayer that I'll just start talking, and then I'm there with him, and people have told me that they've heard me speaking different. Well, that's probably the spiritual tongue. I would imagine that, because we all have it. That's our protection from Satan, so he doesn't hear our prayers. That's our protection, that he doesn't hear what we're communicating, so he can try to step in our lives. See, Satan can't get in here, but he can hear this. That's why prayer and silence sometimes is very important. God says, come to your secret place and speak with him. That's why it's very important. So that being said, now we move on a little bit here, and read. Even if you read one chapter, and take your time with it. Understand it. If you don't understand it, ask someone. Don't let the devil tell you, oh, they're going to look at you this. Because if it's a Christian and they're looking at you like that, if it's a pastor, anybody, get away from them. You don't need that type of people in your life. Because let me tell you, we were all